Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. That's ziprecruiter.com/zip. ziprecruiter.com/zip.
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. So skip replacing every carb with cauliflower and indulge in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner time favorites while still hitting your goals. From breakfast bagels and meal prepped enchiladas to mouth-watering burgers and cheesy noodles. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's fall25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
Welcome back to Used to Sew, a podcast about sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host, Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly, who is here today to talk to you about spooky sewing machine horror stories. We've got spiders, rodents, and even more surprising things hidden away in old machine cabinets. When you think of old and scary places, houses, or barns, often old equipment and appliances are part of the backdrop. Sewing machines, with their elegant curves from a bygone era, often find themselves cast into this inglorious role. And often, they deserve it. This episode mostly centers on 2 notable tales of sales with pests. Well, technically, only one was at TR's place of work, and the other was in her own home. First, we have a customer who retrieved a machine from a barn, and then TR getting out a machine that she had stashed under the bed. Can you guess which one was spiders and which one had the mice? Let us know in the comments if your guess was correct. But don't worry, my use of sound effects will not depict either creature. We aren't an actual horror show, despite the theme of this episode. We also stumbled on a question that we didn't have an answer to. In the ending segment, I'll tell you the answer that I found in the intervening time. All right, enough preamble. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we talked about Halloween sewing costumes. Now we're getting even closer to Halloween. Let's talk about spooky things. Ooh. Talking about spooky things. Spooky sewing machines? What are you talking about, spooky sewing machines? First of all, I want to go back to a movie that some of you 90s kids might remember. It's called Rock-a-Doodle. And it's a cartoon, it's an animated movie about a rooster who's basically an Elvis impersonator. And there's a bunch of weird owl witches. And it's very strange. The whole thing is voiced by the late, great Glenn Campbell. He's pretty good in this movie. There's a lot of singing. It's a musical movie. But there's this scene where there's a flood in a junkyard, and there's a lot of junk floating along. And one of the things that's floating along in the junkyard, and it's all dark and dismal, is an old treadle sewing machine. Ooh. Now, it's animated, right? So it's a cartoon sewing machine, so you can't tell, doesn't say singer on it or anything, but it's the whole iron curlicue stand and the top and the the sewing machine's shape. Everybody knows that old-fashioned sewing machine shape, right? Kind of like a guitar. You just know that shape. And in my mind, watching this movie several times, because you're watching it, you say you don't remember it.
I do not remember this
You
at
were
all.
kind of scared of it. You were scared of it. There was these weird owls that you didn't like.
Huh.
Which I was like, oh, geez, man, instead of watching Aladdin, can we watch that Rockadoodle one?
I was like, no.
No, you didn't like that. You were scared of the owls. So, okay, cool. If I see it in the thrift store, I'm going to buy the DVD, though.
I'd be so curious to expose myself to it again because I have no memory of this.
That would be really fun. It's a very strange movie. As an adult, I found it like really existential and bizarre. But it was kind of like, I could see how little kids would think this was really scary. So anyway, there's this sewing machine sitting in the junkyard with all this other abandoned junk. It's a trope for junk. This is an old-fashioned thing, so it's abandoned. It's no good. And the sky was gray, and it's raining, and there's a flood, and it's all... So, that's a spooky sewing machine.
Yeah.
So it was a very spooky movie. There was spooky music at that part. There was lightning flashing, and there's a sewing machine. Woo! Okay, that's in a cartoon. What about real life? Ring! That's how phones used to sound in the old days. Hello, House of Fabric singer. This is TR speaking. Yeah, found an old sewing machine in my barn, and I think it was my grandma's, and I'd like to fix it up and get it running again. Can I have my husband load it in the truck, and can we bring it over there? I'm like thinking to myself, oh boy, it's going to be an old treadle.
Ooh.
What is it? What's it going to be?
Hidden treasure, antique roadshow magic.
Oh my God. You know, of course she says it's a singer, because singer is a word like Kleenex.
Sure.
If it's got that old black shape, like in Rockadoodle, that's a sewing machine. Mm-hmm. It's a singer. It's got to be a singer. There isn't any other kind. So anyway, there I am at House of Fabrics, and it's actually October. I do remember now because I was wearing a shirt that I had just sewn out of a new fall fabric. It was pinstriped in rust colors, and I had done fun things with the bias and the stripes, and I just hadn't had my hair done, which, if you've ever seen me now, you're like, no.
Yeah, no, you're not the done hair type person.
I've got 1.21 gigawatts of hair right now. But back then I had a hairstyle because I was in retail, and there was a dress code, and nobody knew I had a tattoo under my shirt, and it was very small. 1985, okay, 86, whatever. Anyway, here comes the customer. I hear the truck coming before I see it because it's an old farm truck and the muffler's not very good.
Like, that's not the usual customer vehicle.
Yeah, and our parking lot was the parking lot was right by the door. So people could park right pretty much by I could look out. Oh my, it's a Ford F-150. It looks like a 68. It's going to be a Singer 66. I just know it. I'm like correlating. Okay, who drives this car? Here comes the farmer, and he's big. He's got the whole thing. He's a huge man. He's huge. He must be 6'6" with his boots on and proportionately massive. And he's carrying this treadle sewing machine in his two hands like it's a 12-pack of beer. It's like nothing at all. And he's got really muddy boots, and he comes clomping across my green carpet. No. But it's okay. It's okay, Mr. Customer. It's always right. I cleared something out. You set that down right here, sir. Bonk. The cold air and the rain is wafting off them because it's October. And oh my God, and they smell like, the farm in October. It's dirty. The machine is very dirty. Well, tell me about this. Hey, my name's TR, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what their names were. Somebody had just died, and they decided to go clean out the barn. And there was classic cars, pieces and parts, not like good, but there was just a lot of stuff. You know, the like the antique roadshow, like you said, stuff. And they got to this sewing machine. Well, if you've seen an old sewing machine from this era, they're very ornate. They look important. They look like they might be valuable.
Very self-important design.
And if you don't know anything about them, you might go, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful old antique.
I mean, it holds itself like a princess,
Oh,
you know?
and they were made out of walnut and maple and oak and all these beautiful cherry, real wood. And so even under the coat of dirt, you know, like insert princess here, once you dust her off, you know there's going to be something pretty under there. Well, they brought this thing in. Right away I can see it's the Wood Pittman Singer Treadle 5-drawer cabinet from about 1880-something. 1890-something, somewhere in there. It's pre-1900 because the rod that connects the pedal to the wheel is wooden.
Ah.
So this is one way you can date that cabinet. The later ones have a little metal joint there, but this one's wood, and it reminds me of a bowling pin looking at it. It's got these really smooth curves, and it's very dense. Anyway, I'm admiring this machine. The roar of the store is going on behind me. Mr. Customer, he's done his part. He goes back out to the truck to smoke a cigarette. Mrs. Customer wants to just have a seat, and she's telling me all about her grandma or whoever. I can't remember, but it was a relative of hers whose machine it was. Great aunt, grandma, something. And that person had inherited it from their mom. Can you... The sewing machine is like, okay, it's a family thing.
Chain of custody all over the place.
All over the place. And that person had apparently bought it new, and that was before World War I was all... This person didn't remember anything. I opened the lid. Well, first I dusted it off a little because... It was covered in barn dust. Okay, if you've ever been in a barn, you know what I'm talking. It's encrusted. It's got dirt and fly crap and straw bits, and
It's been moist sometimes and gotten a little bit of crust and then another layer, so it's like basically dust glaciers at that point.
Oh, and since it was here in Oregon and it was damp, all the layers of wood veneer had separated.
Yeah.
So it looked like a spanakopita, kind of. Well,
Yes.
you guess what
Forbidden
was living in all
phylum.
those little cracks?
Oh no, an insect of
Lots
some
of
sort.
little spiders.
No, not the Halloween theme. No.
And I'm bomb-proof. I'm not afraid of any fauna, but I went to grab the lid to open the thing, and all these little spiders came out and ran up my arm. And she screamed. Screamed! In a store! Mrs. Customer screamed because she saw the spiders running up my arm. The whole store just kind of went quiet, and you could hear the store music going. Da, 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 da. And Mrs. Customer's like, ah! And I'm like, it's all right. And I'm like, no, we're on the floor! Ah!
Okay, so we've got an agoraphobe, or an arachnophobe. Got an arachnophobe in the house, all right.
I had to be bad cop and squish and sweep. And then Mrs. Customer's over in the fabric department now. She goes, you let me know when you're done with that. I'm going to go in the back corner store and look at patterns.
A little bit of retail therapy to soothe my nerves.
So, yeah, pretty much. You know. No, I didn't tell her the price. No, she didn't scream because it was expensive. Everything's okay.
Well, cool. It's under control.
So I'm back to the machine, and I get out my stiff bristle brush and tools, and I haven't even opened the cabinet yet, but I am brushing every crack on the outside of that, every swirl. There's cobwebs all over. I look up underneath, and there's those kind of webs that have like the little tunnel where the spider goes inside. Okay, all right. I get my whisk broom and I go in there and I twirl them all up like cotton candy, spiders and all. Put them all in my wastebasket, which is now crawling with spiders and dead shells of other insects.
Food of like
it was
50 years.
Yeah. So I put this all in my trash can and I run it quickly outside the store, out in the rain. Just here, you guys go out there. Go. Use your chance. Go away. Go back in. Okay, now I'm going to open the thing off. I dust it off with a cloth. Okay, my clothes are already erect at this point. I open it up. More spiders. They were
everywhere.
In the machine.
Just all over. Everywhere.
More spiders. Mrs. Customer's looking at me from way across the store, and I'm like, you stay over there. You're good. You're good.
Do not approach. We're not done yet.
Mr. Customer comes back in. He's reeking of cigarettes. What's going on here, Dean? I said, well, we're a little infested here. You know, I'm still cleaning her up. You know, well, I'm going over to Bi-Mart then. Okay, go to
Retail
Bi-Mart.
therapy for the other one.
Yeah, I can look at some tools and stuff. Okay, so now I open the thing up. I'm like beyond caring about these spiders. I'm just dusting them with impunity. Meanwhile, this is a beautiful Singer Lotus 66. Oh my gosh. Well, it was. But decades out in the barn.
Oh no.
The shellac coat has completely failed, which makes the machine covered with this brown flaky stuff, which is the failed shellac, which can't be kept wet. You can't get that old stuff wet. But the decals were in pretty fair shape underneath. The usual parts were missing, the slide plate. There was rust, there was this, there was that. There were spiders. So, there were no more spiders, but your customer comes back in. Mrs. Customer, come on over. Okay, you guys, so this is a really cool machine. It's not worth anything in the antique sense of the word. The cabinet's destroyed. The machine is, the shellac's gone, the rust. I was pointing out all the stuff. No, there's no more spiders.
Promise, none spiders.
No, they said, well, what's it worth? I said, in its present condition, nothing. Zero. Even if it was fixed up. Remember, this is 1986. The Singer 66 treadle Lotus machine, a full cabinet. In that condition, I wouldn't myself give more than $40 for it right now. It's just a lot of work. And it's not an uncommon machine. It's beautiful, but... So, you didn't want to load it back in the truck. They just didn't want it. Mm-hmm. Well, can we leave it here? So that's how I got my first 66 Lotus.
I would pay like 25 cents. I would pay a pittance. They're like, how about free?
They just didn't want to load back in the truck.
Right.
It was raining. It was cold. What's he going to do with it when he gets it home? There'd been a whole
spider fest. Just leave it.
They wanted to see if I'd give them any money for it. And when I wouldn't, they were just like, well, whatever.
Wow.
It's a great machine. But my skills could not have restored that cabinet. I could have saved all the ironwork, and I could have rehabbed the machine. To my knowledge, that decal set is not available yet. A lot of the old decal sets are. I get mine from a place in Australia.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Support American-made tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. They aren't affected by tariffs because their clothing products never left the U.S. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.
Spooky machine tale number 2. Rodents.
Ooh, the other creepy thing.
Okay, so the trigger warning, rodents. Farmhouse in the Oregon woods. Old farmhouse. Crooked walls. Holes in the floor. Wood stove. This is when Aradiapedia was a little kid. Not too little. And, of course, I had sewing machines.
Naturally.
A few. And I had them stashed here and there and under the bed. And one day I wanted to sew buttonholes with one of the neat clickety-clickety buttonholer machines.
Buttonholers, they're so cool.
Oh, we're going to have a sound of that. We're going to have to get that in our sound thing. I was making a dress that had like a line of buttonholes down the front, like one of those like 25 buttons because it's supposed to look cool or whatever. It's like, well, okay, if I need that many of the same kind of button, I'm going to get out that. So, okay. Oh, I have that little 99 machine, little Singer 99, which is it's small, but it's not a featherweight. A lot of times people say, is this a featherweight? I go, pick it up. There's your answer. No.
If you're asking the question, no.
You might call this a goose weight, maybe. Anyway, Little Model 99. One of Singer's successful models. We'll do a show on that one at some point. Hey, I've got one of those. And he's just going to... This is a cool thing about having multiple machines. You can set them up to do different things and leave them that way.
Right.
So a 99 is a great machine to set up as a buttonhole machine. You just permanently put the little cover plate on to cover the feed, put the buttonhole attachment on, really crank on it with, it's really on there. You got your tensions all perfect. All right, I'm going to get that 99 out. Where is it? Look under the bed. The 201, the 101, the 10 more. No, it's not there. Look in the sewing cabinet. Wilcox and Gibbs. 10 more. No, it's not there.
You have too many sewing machines when?
Oh, bottom of the closet. Oh, there it is. And it's a 99, but it doesn't have the little dome top on it because I've been using it as a hand crank machine and that won't fit on with the top.
Right? Yeah.
And so it's a 99 sitting in its little wooden base. And I grab it and I pick it up out of there. And right as I'm getting it out from under this where it's at, a mouse runs up my sleeve. Because underneath the hand wheel of a 99 is a little open spot in the casting that's a perfect size for mice to fit through. So this mouse is in my sleeve, so I fling my arm downward really fast and it comes flying out and hits the floor. I drop the sewing machine just because I'm startled. What the hell is that? Not afraid of mice. I've kept pet rodents many times.
But surprise mice are surprising.
I was not expecting somebody to run up and kiss my elbow, okay? So I dropped the machine, which broke the whole bottom part of that case that it's sitting in, and out comes a nest of baby mice. They had built a nest inside... But what a perfect little mouse condominium.
Pretty damn cat-proof and everything else proof.
There were
and you had cats.
8 cats in the house, and these mice
and they were young
living,
hunters at that
they
time.
They were.
Like, very bold of them to live in the house.
They could maybe get their first joint of the cat paw into this opening, but then the shafts of the gears would be in the way. Actually, 99 doesn't have gears. It has a feed rock shaft there. But yeah, cat paw couldn't get in. But mouse can get all the way down into the bottom of that wooden thing, and there's all this room. And they had shredded so much of my quilt fabric to make a beautiful little nest. So what did I do with them? I gathered them all up and put them in a mason jar and screwed the lid on and put them in the freezer.
Oh, nicer than giving them to the Jays, I suppose.
Then I gave them to the Jays.
Sure. Wouldn't want to waste that protein.
So, mouse-proofing your sewing room. Mice love fat quarters even more than you do. Other scary things that I have found in sewing machines: mouse mummies, all kinds of dead insects, snake skins, an artificial eye. I guess that's kind of scary to some people. It was weird to...
That would be startling.
Flip open the bottom of the sewing machine and there's an eyeball. It's like, oh my God. It was like a medical artificial eye. Not
Someone
like,
lost their eye in a sewing cabinet?
It was a beautiful hazel eye.
Wow.
It was a beautiful thing. I had it for a long time. It was just a piece of art to look at. How did that get in there,
Just rolled and bounced and never got returned. I think most people would consider that to be in the horror category. That's body horror, right?
My God.
That's someone else's body part, albeit an artificial one.
The scariest thing that I myself personally scared of. Not phobia-like, but let's just say if a bear is chasing you, you're not going to say, I'm not scared. You're going to run. Right.
Yeah.
If you reach down and pick up a sewing machine in a wooden case like that, again, just like the mouse machine, it's a 99 in a wooden base with no top, pick it up by the arm, and you just feel that little crunch of paper letting go and realize that there's a nest of paper wasps in there. And as the bottom drops down, the nest opens.
Oh, that would be frightening. Yes.
That would be frightening.
I would need new undies.
That has never happened to me. I had a bad dream about it. So anytime I go to pick up a barn find or a machine that's been outside for a while, I tap on it with a stick and listen. Is anybody home? Anybody in there?
Anyone going to have a problem with this?
I have found many treadle cabinets that have been sitting out on people's porches or in barns that have the mud nests inside, but those guys don't attack you, and
they don't get very big. Like the nests are not that huge.
No, they're just like those little mud lump things.
None of those footballs of doom or anything.
Oh, I had a dream once about picking up a sewing machine, and there's that, when you touch that wasp paper, it has a crunchy sound. Oh, that's when I was storing a lot of them outside.
That might have been a warning. the Avatar's Vespula was like, just so you know, you're playing with fire.
That's the Leecha Vespula arenaria or Devicha Vespula maculata. We call the bald-faced hornet. But anyway, so scary sewing machine stories, mouse mummies, spiders, a bat. I did find a mummified bat. I think it was a bat. It was mummified. It was a little leathery, mouse-like looking thing.
Wow. So
but that was in one of my outdoor, sitting on the porch, holding things up, sewing machine cabinets. Wasn't in the machine. I'm not afraid of bats either. But yeah.
Well, we're talking about Halloween, motifs,
Yeah. Oh, I saw, and we could probably find it online. You know how people like to decorate with those big plastic skeletons now?
Yeah.
Well, the regular human-sized ones, somebody had 10 of them set up on their lawn in front of treadle sewing machines. They had enough old treadle sewing machines that were and they had all these skeletons, and they had
sewing.
And they had wigs and headbands on them like they were women in a sweatshop.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is scary.
It was kind of an art piece looking at it.
A little bit scary.
I'm going to have to find that.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes.
We'll put that, maybe have to be our episode picture for that. It was I laughed my butt off, but then I saw, wait a minute. People die working in sweatshops. Is this art, or is this just Halloween? Or
I mean, yeah, that is kind of the whole point of the Halloween commercialization, right?
Well,
Dead cells.
And, sewing machines are black, right? They're dark. Woo.
Well, and they're from the era that only ghosts are from now. If you have,
That takes us back to that movie, that cartoon. Having that obsolete, old-fashioned sewing machine in a junkyard with this spooky stuff going on. That's a symbol of old, spooky stuff.
Time's gone by.
Oh, my God. Well, they still sew. Darn it.
They do so very well.
You'd sew your Halloween costume on one today. Or not. Glue guns hadn't been invented yet. Okay.
Sure.
Happy Halloween. Blessed Samhain. I don't know what the correct greeting for Dia de los Muertos is, and I don't think we're sewing for that holiday anyway. That's more of...
That's like a face painting thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to even...
costume thing.
Jump in and... If you sew for Dia de los Muertos, let me know. I'm really curious. Is there a sewing tradition associated with that time of year in Mexican, Latin American culture? Used to sew at gmail.com. Used, 2, SEW. USED, 2, SEW at gmail.com. Go ahead, mail us. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what we got right. Tell us what you want to hear about. Tell us a spooky ghost story about sewing.
And there you have it. Spiders, rodents, and fake eyeballs, oh my. Anytime a sewing machine has been left alone for a while, there is the potential for some kind of surprise to greet the next user. So, proceed with appropriate caution. There at the end of the episode, we had a question about costuming for Dia de los Muertos. And by sheer coincidence, the same day that I edited this episode, I saw a video of some absolutely gorgeous and elaborate costumes on parade for that holiday. There will be a link to the TikTok in the description. So, there's an answer for that. I will also verbally describe the video for anyone who can't or won't watch the video. It is a series of people dressed in huge skirts, like hoop skirts, and massive headdresses, like you can't even imagine. They're so big. And they are being directed by an angel usher, like the usher's dressed as an angel, to take their place in a parade to show off their costumes. You know, the angel's kind of pointing and telling them when to walk, sort of thing. And they're walking by, and they're beautiful. The colors of their costumes are mostly black, with a lot of orange and red and white and other colors. Each person's face is painted as a skull, and they're all walking very regally and carefully and slowly, so as not to topple the constructs on top of their heads or resting on their shoulders. Some look like angels of death. Others are clearly a tribute to an individual who had died. Some are just covered in flowers. One of them is even a monarch butterfly. Now, before we get confused or carried away, as we are wont to do as white people in the United States, speaking from experience, let's just stop and be very, very, very clear about what this is and what this is not. Dia de los Muertos is a holiday built from the intersection of indigenous and Catholic traditions. It is not, I repeat, not Mexican Halloween, despite having roughly similar dates and a similar focus on death. Now, obviously, I am not anything close to an expert on this, but from a bit of remembering my experiences in Spanish class in October as a kid, plus some quick Googling, I am reasonably confident in the following assertions. Dia de los Muertos is a holiday for celebrating and honoring the dearly departed. The depictions of death with skull makeup are often misappropriated as a generic scary skeleton look, and that is a big no-no. No, do not do that. Death is meant to be respected, venerated, even celebrated in a way, by remembering and celebrating loved ones who have died. Halloween is a totally different holiday from pagan Europe, where it was called Samhain, and the costumes were intended to ward off ghosts during a final harvest season. So you can see how using a spookified Dia de los Muertos costume in a Halloween celebration would be both incongruous and offensive. But that is not the end of the discussion. If you want to bring the Day of the Dead into your Halloween vibe, that is actually an option. The celebration is not a closed practice, and we are, a multicultural society, so it's good to learn and expand our sphere of knowledge, to engage with cultures other than our own. That's a good thing. Just make sure that whatever you do, it is informed by learning about what the holiday actually means from the people who celebrate it. Not just from me or whatever comes up on Google first. Vet your sources. Learn about this from the people whose tradition that it is. Be curious, be respectful, and have fun, celebrating all the different ways that humans handle the concept of death in late October. Okay, I think that's all I have on this topic. On to the outro. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, who do repairs and restorations. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram